All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. A double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Achiam, to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing the truth and faith and sincerity. I'm Brother Shamala from the GMS Houston Camp, and this lesson is going to be entitled, Don't Tempt the Lord with the Way You Live. All right? Because what we got to understand is, the Most High, right, Yahweh Shai, right, they are real. And, they're constantly, protecting us. They're constantly watching over us. Of course, the ones who are in the right spirit. And ultimately boils down to you being the elect. But nevertheless, they're constantly watching us, constantly protecting us, constantly wanting good for us. All right. But that don't mean that you should put yourself in harm's way without using wisdom and expecting the Most High to just show up for you and protect you. It's not how it works. All right, the Most High is not a genie in a bottle that you can just summon up. All right, or a power that has to, protect and cover and watch, right? According to your own expectations. It's not the case. But let's start here real quick, right? Matthew 4 and 5. Then the devil, this is Satan, right, came to tempt Yahweh Shai, right, personally, taking him up into the holy city and set to him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone. Right? This is in Psalms 91. So basically say, look, it says that the angels will protect you, right? If basically anything was happen to you or about to happen to you. All right, you in danger, you're gonna be protected. So he said, look, cast yourself down. Basically, just to force the Moses in. All right, but so Yahweh Shai said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. And where is this written? All right, go here. Deuteronomy 6 and 16. Ye shall not tempt Yahweh, all right, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, your God, as ye have tempted him in Massa. All right, now let's look at this word tempt. All right, in the side. All right, it says to test, to try, to prove. Tempt, let's say put to the proof or test. You don't want to do that. All right, you don't want to do that with the Most High. Okay, that's a scary thing, to attempt. Okay, it's the last power or being, right, that you want to do that to. It says, "You shall not tempt Yahweh your God as you tempted him in Massa." And what happened in Massa, or why it was called Massa, right? Because the Israelites were basically thirsty, and they were basically saying, is the Most High, with us or not, is He gonna provide for us, right? He said the place in the wilderness where the Israelites tested Yahweh. His name is not Jehovah, all right, but in Hebrew it's Yahweh, all right. So they constantly test him after what? After seeing the miracles, seeing the things that he did, right? But still trying to put him to the test or make him prove something. That's tempting them. Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 9. Neither let us tempt Yahweh Shai. Some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Right? And what this happened in the wilderness as well. All right. When the Lord sent them fiery serpents upon them. And what Moses had to make that brass serpent made out of brass. Okay, and which they were to look upon, all right, and be healed, which that the brass serpent basically represented Yahushua, because he's who we're looking upon today, all right, through faith, through our belief, right, and being healed. Okay, so you see, it says, "Do not tempt." All right, now what are some of the ways that you can tempt the Lord? All right, you can tempt the Lord by being a brother who drinks a lot, right, and get drunk, you get towed up, right, knowing that you still got to drive home. All right. Or, maybe you got to handle something important. All right. Or you could be on your whatever, right? Your lunch break, right? But you still got to go back in and go work. You work a pretty dangerous job, whatever the case may be, right? When you just say, "Hey man, look, I'm gonna do this, man. Hey, look, because the Lord watching over me, man." It says in Psalm 34:7, the angels are camping around about them that fear the Lord, right? But that ain't wisdom, bro. That ain't wisdom at all. You know, let's say you drunk driving, right? You can get the charge. All right, and you got to pay all these fees and this and that. You can possibly lose your life. You can possibly take someone else's life, all right, or lives. All right, it could be a very bad situation. All right, when in your mind you think, "Oh, the Lord just gonna cover me. He got me." Nah, you ain't in the spirit of the Lord. You ain't in the spirit of Yahweh watching y'all shine. When you ain't in the right spirit or in that spirit, bro, anything is bound to happen to you because you don't got that protection that you think you got because you tempting them. Okay, you're tempting them. This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Right. So you're supposed to see the evil and hide from it. Right. Knowing that, hey, look, if I do this, this is what can happen. So maybe I should, just drink a little bit. I shouldn't go too crazy. All right. Or I'm at work. I really shouldn't. I shouldn't be doing this right now. I need a clear head for the work that I do. All right. I need to be able to focus. All right. And also, too, you're just around, people, your boss and, coworkers. You don't want them to see you like that. All right. Then you could possibly lose your job. All right. Then oh man, I thought the Most High was with me. And this is, bro, the Most High is with you. But you put yourself through this. You don't blame it on him. All right. This is your fault. All right. This is self-inflicted. You don't put yourself in situations and expect the Most High to come and rescue you. No, bro, it's not how this works, man. All right. You're already supposed to be walking on that righteous path, staying away from the BS. And anything happens and comes up to where you are put in harm, then the Lord got you. But you don't put yourself in harm's way. It's like jumping in the middle of the street, right? In the freeway, cars come 60 miles per hour, right? And expecting the Most High to protect you. No. Why would you jump out there? This situation didn't even need to happen. Right? We said, but the simple pass on and are punished. And you will be punished for that. All right. Another example, bro, you could be out here, sleeping with all kind of women, just going raw and leaving your seed in them, and hey, the Most High got me. And now you end up with a crazy baby mama, right? On child support. You paying all of these fees and this and that. Right now it's just a big fucking headache on your life when you could have operated a lot smarter. We men, we're gonna do what we do, of course, but you gotta operate on a higher level than what you operated in the world. All right, because you see how niggas be out here, bro, when it comes to women. All right, they just active, highly active, ready to get up and jump in anything. You can't just be like that, man. You gotta prove women, you gotta test women, you gotta really, examine them. All right, you're not just supposed to let everybody into your circle like that or near you and access to you like that just because you're horny. You could suffer from that. And then you think, oh man, I thought the Lord was with me, but bro, you did this. Or getting loans. All right, you getting all these loans and so now you're not being wise. You think, oh, I got this truth. The world is about to end. All the man, this is about to crash. And you making these poor decisions. And now your life reflects those decisions and the choice that you made. And now you're catching more hell, self-inflicted hell and pain that you brought upon yourself. All right. Now you coming around, brothers, the woe is me and this and that. But bro, you did it. We got to operate differently, man. This is Proverbs 14:16. A wise man fears and depart from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Right? You don't want to be the one that's confident in doing that. Okay? Because you will be punished. But you're supposed to fear and depart from that evil. Because that is evil. That's the evil mindset. Right? Feeling like, that the Most High just have to protect you. No matter what situation you're in. Right? You want to be careless. And you want the Most High to basically, care for all of that, right? And just be there for you, even though you want to wild out, do this. And no, 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 no. Right? The Lord will speed you out. All right. So we all got to be in the mindset of not tempting the Lord, thinking through situations, right? Getting counsel when needed. All right. And not being careless and throwing ourselves in harm's way or throwing ourselves in danger purposely when it could have been avoided, and then expecting the Lord just to come through. All right. But that's the lesson. Hope this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.